There's going to be plenty of mix and match in the pack this afternoon. Glenn Bell in the second row with Andy Fisher, Les Holiday at loose forward. Andy Dickinson and Danny McKelvey, the Australian, ex-Rydale York, ex-Hunslet, who wears 15. Bramley team news, player coach Ray Ashton is out of action, as is Norman Francis and Kevin Bell. So Ian Wigglesworth, the former Leeds Colt and York player, is at fullback. Keith Harker, John Perks, Wayne Freeman and Barry Greenwood, the three quarters. The ex-Huddersfield player Ken Kerr at standoff, with the utility man Gordon Long at scrum half. Andy Marson, Dean Blankley, Brian Quinlan, the front three. Ex-Dewsbury second row man Dean Hallway as 11, partnered by Roy Jewett in the second row, with Paul Garrett at loose forward. The Bramley substitutes: 14, Paul Fraser; 15, Glenn Freeman. The referee from Hull, Carl Kirkpatrick. Dewsbury then, in the first half, are going to play from right to left. Glenn Bell then, marvellous second half he had last week, culminating in that fine individual try that really put the stuffing out of Hull KR. Russell Parker. Andy Fisher just threatening to break. Certainly Andy Fisher had a big game last week against the Hull Kingston Rovers pack, and Dewsbury been given the penalty for holding down in the tackle. The referee from Hull, Carl Kirkpatrick. Touch judges this afternoon, give them a mention, Mr. Backhouse and Mr. Josephson. Richard Agar, of course, missed last week's final goal. He was in the sin bin, and that gave Nathan Graham the opportunity to kick the final penalty. Paul Worthy in the wars again. Similar position to where Price Jones of Swinton was sent off for the high tackle, or alleged high tackle, on Paul Worthy. Price Jones, one of the Swinton players not to be suspended. So he's played 2 games on the trot, sent off by the same referee, suspended in neither. So Dewsbury, first look at the Bramley quarter. Mark Cox, Paul Bonson drives to the post. This is superb position for Dewsbury. Options left, options right. Longo, the hold and the look. Holiday, and good tackle by Wayne Freeman. It was Wayne Freeman up on Tony Marchant, because it was very much a hanging pass, and could have been shades of Old Trafford yesterday with the interception had Wayne Freeman taken it. But Freeman took man and ball as Longo. Delaney, just a hint of a bit of obstruction. Last tackle. Holiday going to make a bit of space. Agar steps inside, first try, Phil Cornforth. Phil Cornforth then marks his return to the Dewsbury first team with the early try. It was the switch from Les Holiday, the quick hands from Richard Agar. So Phil Cornforth started off the season in the first team, but been out of action in recent weeks. Les Holiday, the switch to the blind side, bringing in Richard Agar. Richard Agar, it really was quick hands, took the ball, moved it on in one. Phil Cornforth stepped inside of the remnants of the defence.
They'll get it clean in at half time.
Dewsbury 4, Bramley 0. The pitch taking a fair amount of rain the last, well, I suppose virtually all last week, a fair amount of rain, and as with the match against Highfield, a fair amount of water standing on the pitch. So it's a difficult one for Richard Agar. I think it's also going to be difficult for him to keep his footing just as he steps off the pitch. It's not one of the most standard areas, but nevertheless it's one of those where it's not just the kicking of the ball, it's the actual run up and getting your non-kicking foot in the correct position. Richard Agar then, 4-0, strikes it well, that looks good from here. Take 2 for that, take 2 for that. Dewsbury 6, Bramley 0, try Cornforth. Touchline conversion, Richard Agar. It's Bramley lacking the playing services of Ray Ashton and Glenn Bell again. Good ball control by Dewsbury there, because that ball landed in the sticky area where knock-ons could well be the order of the day. Russ Parker. Longo, Delaney. Andy Fisher now then. Fisher's gone, and can we find the support? Andy Fisher, options, and Fisher kicks. Good play by the second row man now then. The chase is on. Harker's going to kick the ball dead, and good break by Andy Fisher. Fisher got into the clear, suddenly accelerated away from his support. Did the right thing because the support was out left. It was Richard Agar and Phil Cornforth. Fisher put in the kick. I think what perhaps Andy Fisher needed was a man inside him, because a supporting player would certainly have gone very much to the post. Now then, Paul Worthy. One tackle gone, and certainly marvellous break by Andy Fisher, and certainly the penalty count very much in Dewsbury's favour in the early stages. I'm sure Les Holiday's just going to put that one into, on opening day of the season. These two teams met, and Dewsbury won 22-15. It wasn't convincing, Dewsbury performance. In fact, for periods, Bramley was certainly the better team. Looks different today. Bonson, Worthy. Two drives by the props. Longo, Delaney goes one way, and a good block. It was Roy Jewett, one of the Lancashire-based contingent in the Bramley side. Holiday, the hold. Paul Delaney taking that one virtually on the half volley. Mark Cox, in we go. Longo. Gets it back to Holiday, and Paul Worthy. Now then, it was, so I think for the first time in the game, Bramley have actually in possession of the ball. Let's see what the villagers can do, as that's going to be a penalty. Mark Cox, the man penalised. The thing about Bramley, that towards the bottom of the table, obviously third from bottom, but the general feeling is Ray Ashton's got them playing with a lot more enthusiasm and drive this season. That's Keith Harker in from his wing. Dean Blankley. That's Andy Marson, ex-Hunslet man. Knock on given. I think Andy Marson was looking for the penalty. I think he's going to have a word with the referee, to no avail. In fact, he has had a word. He's had too many words, and you can't. Oh, I don't know. Indiscipline. They've gone from a scrum to lose, from a scrum to a penalty 10 yards on. Andy Marson, 10 minutes in the sin bin. The ex-Hunslet player, son of Len Marson. Quite famous rugby league name of the past, former Wakefield Trinity player. So Bramley's cause certainly not helped by that. All coming from the knock-on, and Bramley up against it. 6-0 down, now down to 10 men as Bonson. Dewsbury now, competition for places in the pack. Shane Williams suspended, Dickinson McKelvey on the bench. Longo as Glenn Bell, a bit of butterfingers, but ball's not going to be too easy today. So Bramley must be looking to play 6 tackles. Roy Jewett. Ray Ashton signed a lot of players from Saddleworth and Waterhead, as befits a man from that area. Played many years for Oldham, the Bramley player coach. as one thing that Carl Kirkpatrick's made clear in the early stages of the game, he's going to take no nonsense, and if players aren't towing the line, they're going to get penalised. Now I think this is John Perks. He's another Lancastrian, plays all over the place. He's probably the Bramley goal kicker. Dean Blankley into Brian Quinlan. Really has been a lot of penalties in the early stage of this game, but good, solid two-man tackle. But if you lie on, you'll be penalised. Paulworthy and Cox in with a hold as Gordon Long moves the ball out. Now the standoff useful, that's Ken Kerr, the Australian, and Andy Fisher. Good two-man tackle, both second row man. Glenn Bell in as well. Perks, infield we go. Long and Kerr. And Bramley showing that they've got the ability to play rugby, and of course they are down to 12 men. Gordon Long, Dean Hall moved that ball on as Brian Quinlan struggles to get that ball away. It's the last tackle then. Dewsbury. Good play by Bramley. Kick through on the last tackle and forcing Dewsbury to defend. Richard Agar then going to drop out. Keith Harker, nice bit of skill. Flicks it up into his hand and straight into Cornforth. Roy Jewett. Gordon Long. That's Paul Garrett. He's a former Saddleworth player. So a bit of pressure by Bramley. That's Ken Kerr. Played for Huddersfield under Alex Murphy. Dean Blankley, he'll go from acting halfback all day as Kerr. Gets the ball down, and that won't please Norman Smith, but it's the reply from Bramley, the Australian. Standoff, Ken Kerr appeared held, but shot out of hand, got the ball down. Dewsbury 6, Bramley 4. It looked, when Ken Kerr took that ball, he looked held.
First point of the afternoon then for Bramley's number 6, Ken Kerr.
But suddenly, Ken Kerr, showing his strength, managed to reach out, get the touchdown. If John Perks is successful, it's 6 apiece. Just creeps in, so the villagers back on level terms. It looks as if Keith Harker, the Bramley right wingman, who's had a fair amount of injury, in fact he broke his leg a couple of years ago, he's going to come off.
Bramley, number 2, Keith Harker leaves the field, and number 14, Fraser.
Les Holiday's coming off for Dewsbury. Andy Dickinson on.
Les Holiday off, and number 14, Andy Dickinson onto the field.
So it'll be just interesting to see how Dewsbury react to being without Holiday. First touch then for Paul Fraser, and first tackle, cheers for Andy Dickinson, and Dickinson's in again with Worthy. Perhaps it looked to start, it was going to be too easy. The early score to Cornforth and then the tremendous break by Andy Fisher, but that didn't lead to points, and we're back at 6 apiece, and it's Bramley who, that's one of the swamp areas. Bramley, who certainly didn't have the ball for the early stages of the game, now show what they can do. Now then, Ken Kerr. Finds Cornforth. Cornforth evades the tackle of Kerr. Good covering job by the Dewsbury try scorer. Cox in field. Bonson.
Back up!
2 tackles gone. Delaney to Parker. Always coming in from the wing. Always looking for the ball. Longo, and there's with no less holidays going to be extra responsibility on Longo and of course Paul Delaney, because for Andy Dickinson's many fine qualities, he isn't obviously a ball player in the mould of Les Holiday. Knock on. Long. That's centre. Wayne Freeman, he was a try scorer in the McLaren Field fixture, the opening day of the season. It's really poor play by Bramley there. You can't turn your back in this game, and it was Wayne Freeman guilty, turning his back on the ball, and you've got to watch the ball. Golden rule, keep your eye on the ball. Bonson. Worthy. Loses the ball but backwards. Cornforth. Glenn Bell. Really did prove a handful, Glenn Bell, last week. He really was breaking an awful lot of tackles. A thorn in the side of the Hull KR defence as Fisher finds Marchant. Scrum cap on. Longo. Wait, Dave Longo goes solo. That's going to be a penalty, no? Ian Wigglesworth, former Ideal York man, and I thought the way the ref was moving, he was certainly a high one. That's going to be a penalty to Bramley. Could nearly be a 10-minute job. There's Ian Wigglesworth running the ball out. Andy Fisher, the man, been spoke to. Thought initially from Longo's kick that Dewsbury were going to get a penalty the way the ref was moving. Dean Hall, the man that I think backed into Longo, or well, did he back in? Did he obstruct him? Did Davy Longo run into Hall? It's all academic. There was no penalty given, so the game warming up a bit. Brian Quinlan. Dean Hall. Strong run, and Dewsbury have got to realise there's a game on. Barry Greenwood, Ken Kerr, out we come, Gordon Long, back inside, loose forward, Paul Garrett, into Fisher, into Delaney. Barry Greenwood, ex-Army sprint champion. Blankley, Kerr, the try scorer, he's going to create another. He has done. He's turned it back inside. It's not Dean Blankley, but the try is on the board, and the man who scored the first Bramley try has created the second one. Ken Kerr, try scorer, has turned try provider. Dewsbury 6, Bramley 10.
Try scorer then for Bramley, number 1, Ian Wigglesworth.
It was Ian Wigglesworth up in the line from fullback. Oh, spirited reply by Bramley. Obviously, the early stages hadn't the ball. They've created problems, and the man who's got to be watched is Ken Kerr. John Perks then. That's over. Dewsbury 6, Bramley 12.
Conversion there, number 3, John Perks.
So Dewsbury up against it. John Perks, the goal kicker. Paul Fraser on the right wing for Harker. Blankley. Plenty of Dewsbury men in at the tackle. Count 4 there. Blankley. Kerr. Given a knock on. There were cries from the Bramley supporters on the far side. They thought it was a bit high, but referee Kirkpatrick right on the spot. Delaney now, then Nathan Graham, the first call of the afternoon for Nathan to knock on, and I think that was fair. I think Nathan looked at the touch judge hoping for the penalty, but just after the early onslaught, Dewsbury finding it difficult to control the ball, can't hold the ball for anything like 6 tackles. Bramley on the blind side, Fraser into Agar and Longo. Andy Marson back from the sin bin. Brian Quinlan. Good copybook tackle, Mark Cox. Good copybook tackle from the young hooker. As Long does the runaround move, and Long again. So the earlier probe by Dean Hall up there showed the some weakness, certainly in the Dewsbury defences. Again, Bramley getting the ball away. Andy Marson, and Bramley making holes, looking capable of adding to the 6-point advantage. Richard Agar, well covered, well tackled. Paul Fraser. Nathan Graham. Glenn Bell. Longo Bonson. Just going to be interesting to see when Norman Smith introduces Danny McKelvey. He's had some good performances in the A-team now. Then Andy Fisher gets the ball away. Nathan Graham. Quick one out to Cornforth. Back to Nathan Graham. Still going. John Perks gets back. Good neat bit of interplay between the Dewsbury backs. Agar, the long kick, but with the pitch been heavy, it's not just running as it would on the a big type of surface. Really is heavy in the middle part of the pitch. That's Barry Greenwood. Socks are rolled down. Roy Jewett. Dean Blankley, ex-Castleford scrum half, and useful player, useful second division player. Witness for watching him one time last season. Now then, Gordon Long played at fullback, played at standoff as Bramley just standing still a little bit. I think it was Dean Orr, the last man, he never played that. Ken Kerr, there's room on the left. It was a good tackle by Glenn Bell, because Ken Kerr just created a bit of something on the blind side. Oh. Wayne Freeman in with the tackle. Paul Worthy. Good drive and one or two oohs and ahs as Dean Hall's in at the tackle. Dean Hall sent off in last season's game. That was for a challenge on Mark Conway. Glenn Bell, good ball from Bell. Richard Agar, good ball. Inside to Cornforth, and Dewsbury lose the ball. They did well, Agar and Cornforth did well to keep it in play, but the ball shot out in the tackle. That's the conditions. That's Gordon Long. Dewsbury 6, Bramley 12. Brian Quinlan. Again, good play, Paul Garrett. Bramley showing the ability to slip the ball away from the tackle, support the man in possession. Going long inside, Ken Kerr loses the ball. But the first thing he's done wrong. Bonson. Dickinson. Kick to Dewsbury. He's standing no nonsense. Mr. Kirkpatrick. Richard Agar then. Looked plain sailing with the early Dewsbury try at 6-0. Looked as if it was going to be the first of many. Bonson. Looks like Danny McKelvey getting his tracksuit off, so it could well be that Bonson's coming off, or possibly Worthy, as Nathan Graham. Delaney. Just players, not just keeping the footing as Paul Worthy, the man, off. Danny McKelvey, he'll be looking for a big game.
Danny McKelvey replaces number...
Davy Longo, there's a gap. Longo, good run, finds his support. Tony Marchant goes over. It was made by Longo, scored by Marchant. Dewsbury 10, Bramley 12, back in it.
That's one going for the three strikes for number 3, Tony Marchant. That's a Dewsbury substitution. Off comes Paul Worthy and making his home team debut, number 15, Danny McKelvey.
It was one of those occasions, Davy Longo's pace. That try goes down to Longo's pace and his ability to spot the gap, take the ball to the defence. He's got the speed off the mark, took him through the gap, drew the cover, turned the ball inside. Tony Marchant supported, and Marchant enough momentum to stretch out, get the touchdown, and Dewsbury needed that. Down at the other end, it looked Bramley 12 points to 6. They look capable of adding to that. All things being equal, this makes it 12 all. Agar kicks. Dewsbury 12, Bramley 12, as Glenn Freeman prepares to come on for Bramley.
On comes Glenn Freeman, and off comes number 11, Dean Hall.
So, Dean Hall. Well remembered to Dewsbury supporters back from the Crown Flat days, the second row pairing, the two H's, Hall and Hughes. Notice this week Paul Hughes was actually put on the transfer list by Hunslet. 5,000 buys him. John Perks. Glenn Bell. Sure, Norman Smith's, even though Dewsbury got back to 12 all, there's going to be words will be said at half time. Russ Parker. Richard Agar. Just a bit of luck then for Richard Agar. They actually lost the ball. It went back, covered by Phil Cornforth. Paul Bonson. Probably do Paul Bonson good. He's been substituted after 20-25 in a fair number of matches. Probably with Paul Worthy off, give Bonson a longer run. The long kick down from Longo. It's going to find touch. It's a good one. Forces Bramley back. Fraser, so we're only in the early stages of the game, but we've got all 4 substitutes on the field. At this day and age, there's so many changes. When you think when the first substitute rule came in the 60s, players could only come on either in the first half or at half-time. If you didn't play your substitution by half-time or during the half-time interval, you couldn't make it at all. But with the blood bin and changing rules, it's a different game. As Ken Kerr just held the ball, and Ken Kerr sold the dummy looking for the gap, but so often as we've seen, when the player hits the tackle, the ball shoots out, and it's gone again there. Play on. Richard Agar not having the best of luck, and the touch judges are doing a good job. Let's give them credit. The officials have had some slating in recent weeks, but a lot of players are looking for penalties, and the touch judges once or twice this afternoon have ruled the knock-on. Longo. Now Delaney. Paul Delaney's going to go. No change out of Kerr. Andy Dickinson showing the ball, but does well get it away. Marchant inside. Russ Barker. Good play, Dewsbury. Good cover, Bramley, and certainly Dewsbury looking to put points on the board before half-time. I'm sure after the early try they didn't envisage being all level. Delaney, that was well read by Bramley, inside to Bonson. Longo, the kick is high. Is it too far? It was a good kick. Just couldn't tell from the minute it left his boot whether or not it was going to go dead, but it was superbly judged, and John Perks in the end that couldn't hold it. John Perks forced to concede the dropout. Not too much purchase on that one. Tony Marchant, the second Dewsbury try scorer after the early score by Cornforth. Bonson just had to reach a bit for that ball, just lost his momentum. Delaney goes blind. Back inside we come to Dickinson, and fighting and struggling. Longo. The long ball, but Richard Agar, if it holds up, Agar gets the touchdown. And though the dropout's given, it was touch and go. The ball was never just on, it was from Dabby Longo. The long ball out to Andy Fisher was never just on, but it bounced well. Richard Agar did the right thing, applied his boot to the ball, and the touch judge, the referee, looked at the touch judge, and the touch judge said, Andy Dickinson's still going. The touch judge ruled no try, drop out, and Andy Dickinson went forward a long way and then went virtually back the same amount as Glenn Bell, and gets his ball away. Paul Bonson splashes his way forward into the Bramley quarter. Bramley hanging on in there. Dewsbury 12, Bramley 12, Longo, Delaney, Fisher, Nathan Graham, into Perks. Delaney, Glenn Bell, and knock on given. On the handicap for this game, Bramley were given varying amounts of start, ranging from 16 to 24. They're well in front at this stage on that basis, but the real game, 12 apiece. Wayne Freeman, big strong running centre. Again, Cox in with a good leg tackle, well supported by Danny McKelvey. Brian Quinlan. Dewsbury ball. I think there were Bramley players thought that the Dewsbury player touched it and a Dewsbury man in front picked it up from an offside position. I think they had actually. The referee says play on. Glenn Bell. Danny McKelvey then, first running opportunity. Bell. Glenn Bell with pressure on for places in the pack. And Longo. Andy Fisher can't control the ball, and I think that's the case when the long ball is fanned out, they're proving difficult to take. John Perks. Paul Garrett over the halfway line. Dewsbury just standing up a little bit. That's a high tackle, the last man in. Glenn Bell been spoken to, I think, as the man who went down in the two-man tackle. Glenn Bell added his presence, and as half-time approaches, Bramley can have a crack for the lead. John Perks, 100% success rate at present. Converting the tries by Ken Kerr and Ian Wigglesworth. This kick then to put Bramley in the lead. Looks quite well struck. Dewsbury watched the ball go dead. Certainly hit it well, John Perks. Plenty of distance, just lacking a little bit in direction. Agar then with the dropout. Not really a day for dropping out. Players don't sort of get too much distance on the ball, but Dewsbury got to make sure that they don't concede anymore. Points before half-time and 4 men in at the tackle. Blankley, the blind side. Good play, Blankley. Ken Kerr into Cornforth and Agar. Good bit of football by Blankley. Infield we go. Gordon Long. Roy Jewett. Loose forward Paul Garrett now, last tackle. Will Bramley go for a drop goal? Blankley, drop goal. That looks all right. It's the hooker. Don't see too many drop goals these days, but that one from Dean Blankley just popped it over. So Bramley could well be going in front at half-time. 13 points to 12 in their favour. Paul Fraser then. Bramley going to have to look to play their set of 6 and control the ball.
Bramley, number 19, Blankley.
No. Good footballer, Blankley. We just saw before the drop goal how he just created a bit of space on the blind side for Ken Kerr, and they're certainly the two prominent Bramley players. I think to Ray Ashton's credit, he's got Bramley playing sensible football, controlling the ball well. Here comes the kick. Well caught, Nathan Graham, straight in. Russ Parker, fresher than most. No. Good run by Parker. Just looked at one stage there if he might be able to link up with his support on his left, but rather than force the pass, did the right thing. Just held the ball. Andy Fisher struggling to his feet, and Dewsbury get the penalty. Bramley interference at the play of the ball. I don't really think Richard Agar's going to have a kick at goal from here. It's virtually on the halfway line and in the sticky region. So can Dewsbury pop a try in before half-time to put them back in the lead? Here comes McKelvey. Rides the first challenge. Almost rides the second challenge, and Andy Marston gets up a bit feelingly. Glenn Bell, 2 gone. Good position for Dewsbury. They need a score. Delaney, the little delayed ball, but Bramley up quickly. Be best advised to hold that one. Delaney, then the long ball. Dickinson, that I think with the conditions, once the ball comes out, Bramley have usually got men waiting. Bonson. Good solid drive by Paul Bonson. Agar, high kick. Bramley player catches it well. In his own in-goal area, 25, tap it away, and good enterprising play by the villagers. Now then, Barry Greenwood, can he run? He throws the ball infield, and Dewsbury come back with it. Out we come to Cornforth. He's got Agar with him. Dummy scissors. Going to go into touch here. So we've seen both wingmen. Barry Greenwood on the far side threw the ball back in field to avoid being thrown into touch. Phil Cornforth elected to take the dummy scissors rather than put the ball in field to Richard Agar, and it was sheer weight of numbers that forced him over the touchline. There goes the half-time, and it's a shock scoreline here at the New Crown Flat. Dewsbury 12, Bramley 13, all to play for in the second half.
On Thursday.
So what are Dewsbury going to pull out of the hat for the second half? It really, a really surprising scoreline. 12 Dewsbury, 13 Bramley. Dean Blankley's drop goal towards the end of the half, putting Ray Ashton's men in front. So 40 minutes to turn things round. So when you get conditions like this, often do tend to even things up. What Dewsbury need is not to panic, but an early score. A strong run by Andy Marston. Andy Dickinson, bit of the old Cumberland throw there. Something perfected by Sid Hines, for those of you with longish memories. Nathan Graham then, plenty of time. Bramley. Paul Boston was running one way. Referee Kirkpatrick was running the other way to catch the Bramley men offside, and they don't learn. They don't learn. Somebody's had a word again, and They did that in the first half on 2 or 3 occasions, and Andy Marson had 10 minutes in the sin bin. Richard Agar then towards the 25. Or 22, whatever you want to call it these days. Danny McKelvey. When I remember him playing at Hunster, I think he always used to play in a scrum cap. Without it this afternoon as Longo and Bonson. Good tackle. Roy Jewett. Delaney looks to turn it inside and brings it in, and Andy Dickinson did well there. He's done well to go down because the Bramley players were looking to bundle him into touch. Mark Cox then. Steady game on his debut was Glenn Bell, but not breaking the tackles like he did last week. Cox and Delaney. Delaney pans the ball out. Fisher gets it going. Dewsbury keeping it going, but Tony Marchant is going to just sharpen things up. Tony Marchant looked to get the ball inside, but the ball going to the wrong pair of hands. It's a good, nice little incision there by Tony Marchant. He certainly sharpened the attack up because Dewsbury moving the ball, but going backwards at the same time. Marchant just adding a cutting thrust to that attack. Dewsbury got to keep Bramley penned in their own quarter. One thing that Bramley did in the later stages of the game, and control the ball well. Now we're going to look at the kick. I think that was Wayne Freeman. Big, powerful local boy Wayne Freeman from the Pudsey, Stanningley, that sort of area. Bramley just quite happy to keep Dewsbury in that muddy area. That was Cornforth. This is Bonson. Good drive by the ex-Featherstone man. He was just, he got half a feeling of looking to unload at one stage as Mark Cox, little half a dummy. Infield we go, long go. Delaney and, well, it's a knock on. I think it was probably forward anyway, had he taken it. The natives are getting restless. Dewsbury 12, Bramley 13.
Two half-time scores here. Huddersfield 3, Brackley 0. And Whitehaven 6, Keighley 14.
Interesting scores coming through for the second division then. Keighley winning at Whitehaven, but back to the action here. Bramley ball, Nathan Graham in at the tackle. And Dewsbury penalised there for offside. Andy Fisher trying to rake the ball back. I don't think he was penalised. I think it was the men in the actual offside position. That was John Burks. I would think Bramley tactics will be fairly simple if they get in anywhere near the post. I wouldn't be at all too surprised to see Dean Blankley have another pot at a drop goal. That's Andy Marson. It's Brian Quinlan. Longo. Good ball, turn back inside, and certainly playing with some spirit, and every time they get into the Dewsbury quarter, look capable of scoring now. Then Blankley, he'll go solo. Cries from the Bramley people on the far side, but Dewsbury been penalised, I think. Is it for offside? I'm sure Bramley will take the 2. Like referee Kirkpatrick adopting the Australian referees policy, letting play go on, seeing if there was any advantage. Dean Blankley scrambled for the post. Dewsbury kept him out, but referee Kirkpatrick then giving Bramley the penalty for Dewsbury being offside. John Perks. 2 conversions, the long-range, long-distance penalty attempt towards the end of the first half. That was before the Blankley drop goal, but Perks kicks then. No problem. Slots that one over. Dewsbury 12, Bramley 15.
2 more points then for Bramley's number 3, John Perks.
Just saw some betting yesterday on the second division championship. Keighley quoted at 2-1 on. I think Dewsbury, Batley, Whitehaven, they're all been quoted at 7-1.
Get on him!
Bramley looking for a good set of 6, and there goes Blankley again. Going to call the Bramley man of the match. I think Blankley won't be far off. Ken Kerr wouldn't be far off. Put the curse on Ken Kerr, give him a good mention. He drops the ball. I think what the game need and what Dewsbury need is very much a try, really, to bring the team to life, bring the crowd to life. There's bit of a lack of atmosphere as Paul Delaney, Nathan Graham, but wherever Dewsbury seems to move the ball, Bramley seems to be there in numbers. Les Holiday's leg didn't look too good when he came off. Whether or not he would be reintroduced, I very much doubt, and without him, without Holiday, Dewsbury lacking the sense of direction, purpose, leadership. Plenty of running forwards, but where's the ball player? Andy Fisher. And idea was right, but the ball just a shade too high for Nathan Graham. Barry Greenwood. As Brian Quinlan juggled it, controlled it at the second attempt. No. Credit Bramley, they're playing simple rugby. They're doing the simple things well. They're just holding the ball. The forwards running strongly onto the promptings of Blankley, Kerr. That man tackled in possession, the scrum half, at Gordon Long. The makeshift scrum half, that's Ken Kerr. So Dewsbury going to get the ball on the turnover, is it? In fact, it's a scrum because it wasn't the last tackle. Longo. Good ball, Delaney. Again, I think committing the defence, Longo. Running at the defence, then bringing on the support in the form of Delaney. Dickinson, Dewsbury got to take it forward. Andy Dickinson did the right thing there. Don't force the pass. Now then, McKelvey. 3 tackles gone. Dewsbury 12, Bramley 15, infield, Cox, Longo, Delaney, Andy Fisher. Andy Fisher under the post! Andy Fisher under the post! And Dewsbury needed that one. The ball going out to the left. Andy Fisher collecting the ball wide out on the left, cutting back, and his strong running, his powerful running too much for the remnants of the Bramley defence, and Andy Fisher, power and pace underneath the post. Dewsbury back in front, slender margin, 16-15. Richard Agar's goal to come. Certainly Bramley taking a bit of breaking down. Agar successful. Dewsbury 18, Bramley 15.
And 2 more points for Richard Agar, 18, Bramley 15.
The tries brought the crowd. Wouldn't exactly say to its feet, but a happier atmosphere around the stadium, and I think probably the crowd hopeful of more points. There's seen plenty of points at the new ground, and I would think another quick try would certainly see the Bramley heads go down. Glenn Bell. When Glenn collected that ball, he didn't quite go as far as that last week, but it was down this side as Russ Parker. One or two and ours, but I think Dewsbury looked at the sharpest this afternoon when Davy Longo's gone forward with the ball. Now then, that is a good run. Paul Bonson, I think Paul Bonson probably benefiting from playing, going on for an hour's rugby on the trot, and you can see a try lifts aside, and Andy Fisher having a word with Roy Jewett. Dewsbury got the penalty for offside, and Dewsbury star in the ascendancy. The try certainly has lifted the team, it's lifted the crowd, and Richard Agar. Richard Agar looking for a position, I think, inside the Bramley quarter, just give Dewsbury 6 tackles, plenty of options. McKelvey. Good plunge, first tackle. Glenn Bell. Strong drive and committing tacklers all the time. Longo back inside, and Paul Bonson well met there. Paul Delaney. Done a fair amount of kicking this season, Paul. Then just look then, dummied or fainted if he might put the little kick through. Now then, Andy Dickinson. Dickinson still going, still struggling. Showing the ball this way and that. Bonson as Bramley hold on to possession. Going to be a test of the Bramley character now. Finding themselves behind and defending well, but normally this game they've brought the ball away pretty well when they've been under pressure. Andy Fisher in with the tackle. Now the clearing kick. Wayne Freeman. Nathan Graham. Quite often likes to bring his wingman in, but just nothing on there, just took the tackle. Good play there, Phil Cawthon. I think everybody was looking for the pass, and he had a little run. Touch judge on the field for the high tackle. I think probably the referee saw it first. The outcome is a penalty to Dewsbury. It's Andy Marston. He was the man who's been in the sin, but it wasn't for a foul as such. It was for back chat after the penalty had been awarded. 2 or 3 bouts of back chat. Richard Egar then. So Dewsbury towards the Bramley quarter. Glenn Bell. Good tackle, sends Bell flying to Bonson. It's a good tackle on Bonson though. Good driving tackle by Roy Jewett. To the blind side. Delaney. 3 tackles gone for Dewsbury as Dewsbury get the penalty. Now is that for pulling the scrum cap off? In fact it's a scrum. No, it's a penalty to Bramley. I thought initially that Dewsbury got the penalty and saw the scrum cap had come off, and then a scrum was awarded. So Bramley 3 points in arrears. Dewsbury 18, Bramley 15. Ball comes out, Bramley penalty. Now Bramley can have a go at goal. John Perks for the popular side touchline, and that's a good, well judged kick by the Bramley centre. As Dean Hall reappears, he's back on in place of Glenn Freeman.
Dean Hall returns. Number 15, Glenn Freeman.
Paul Fraser. Try to Bramley, puts them back in front. Brian Quinlan. Marson. The switch to Long. Freeman. Wayne Freeman just unable to control that ball, so a bit of relief for the Dewsbury defence. Russ Parker. Dickinson. About 4 Bramley tacklers there waiting for Andy. The players haven't learned from the first minute. The referee signalled his intention that he's going to penalise. I think it was probably Dean Hall, the man guilty on that occasion. Bonson. Dewsbury turned the ball over before the first tackle. Handed the initiative back to Bramley. Kerr. Marson. Blankly. Dean Hall, refreshed. Plenty of ribald comments from the Dewsbury supporters who remember Dean, and touch judge on the field. Bramley get the penalty. And away we go. Game on. Ken Kerr. Good ball out, and I think if Wayne Freeman had have taken that ball, quick ball out from Ken Kerr to Freeman, if Freeman could have taken that ball, there might have been something on. But, it wasn't. It was a quick tap by Bramley. It didn't come off, and it'll be interesting to look at the error count from this game. Both teams appear to be losing lots of possession, and lots of possession lost early in the tackle count. There's Agar, Nathan Graham, Bramley forward, sticking to the task, moving up in numbers, making the tackles count as Cox turns the ball to Glenn Bell. Glenn Bell certainly not been as prominent today, or not able to break tackles. This is one man that has broken tackles today. Andy Fisher broke tackles when he scored, and broke tackles in the first half as Longo kicks high and kicks forward. Is Dewsbury penalised for offside? Got to say, when that kick was in the air, Paul Fraser never looked likely to take that kick. You can often judge by how a player goes about taking the ball whether or not he's going to take it, and Paul Fraser just didn't know it looked as if he was going to get near that ball, and didn't really matter in the end because Bramley get the penalty for offside. Dewsbury 18, Bramley 15. Brian Quinlan, Paul Worthy looks as if he's going to come back as Gordon Long. Paul Garrett evades the tackle of Andy Dickinson. Blankley, the blind side sortie, and likes to exploit the blind side, the hooker. A footballing brain, as befits an ex-scrum half. Gordon Long, the kick is high. Nathan Graham comes forward, and it was Bramley. It was Ken Kerr up quickly, but the ball been knocked on at the death. I think, is that the sixth tackle in the turnover? It is. But a good, well-judged kick by Gordon Long as the floodlights come on. So that's going to be a penalty. It looked like a fist was thrown in that tackle. Penalty goes to Dewsbury. It's Dean Hall. It'd be a notable double if he was sent off in 2 games, successive seasons against Dewsbury. Last year at Mount Pleasant. But, Dewsbury stuck a bit at present, and now then, I think the ref, what's he going to do here? Are we going to get a sin bin in? We certainly are. The yellow card's out. It's a red card, in fact.
And the Dewsbury substitutes.
Dean Hall then. Off he goes.
Paul Worthy returns for Phil Thompson.
Well, last year it was for the late challenge on Mark Conway. Dean Hall then goes to the dressing room, sent off twice in consecutive years against Dewsbury. The substitute, Paul Bonson, is off. Paul Worthy is back on. Would you believe it? Dewsbury coughed up the ball again before the first tackle is completed. Gordon Long. Bramley down to 12. down 3 points. Dewsbury 18, Bramley 15. Freeman, that's Wayne. I think just over quarter of an hour left. So Bramley get the penalty. So, quite interesting in the first half when Bramley were down to 12 when Marston was in the sin, but Bramley actually looked quite dangerous with 12 men. The referee has a word with the Bramley player, but the initial decision still stands. Quinlan, Brian Quinlan. Paul Garrett. There's 3 tackles gone then, and it's desperate for Dewsbury at 18-15. A messy play of the ball. Blankley will go. Like Mark Cox hasn't had a bad game. Fair to say that Dewsbury certainly missed the tackling and harrying ability of Ian Bates this afternoon. We've mentioned earlier in the commentary about lacking the handling skills and organisational abilities of Holiday. Bramley ball. Kerr. Ken Kerr, as Bramley turned the ball over on the first tackle, as Ken Kerr committed some defenders to him and tried to turn the ball inside. Can Dewsbury make the extra man tell? So that's 6 more tackles, but Dewsbury are in touch. Bramley put in and Gordon Long. Good tackle. There's Paul Delaney on Long there. Wayne Freeman. 2 tackles gone for Bramley. Looking for the score that will put them a point in front as Ken Kerr moves the ball out to Paul Fraser, the substitute, out on the right wing. Certainly Bramley just trying to scramble over from acting half-back, and there have been 1 or 2 holes in that region. To the blind side, and that's the try that puts Bramley in front. It was a well-worked move. The ball coming out, I think it was probably John Perks that scored. As Bramley have done throughout the game, they've moved the ball. We've seen Blankley exploiting the blind side. It was worked to the blind side. There was a big overlap. The pass was taken. The try was scored. Would you believe it?
Number 3, John Perks.
John Perks scored the try, and Bramley, who were given 24 points, start on the coupon, find themselves a point in front. I make it about 13 minutes to go. There's been 1 or 2 stoppages. Bramley down to 12 men. This goal then, it would put the Bramley lead to 3 points, which of course would mean Dewsbury going to have to score a try to win. If it stays as it is, a drop goal would equalise, a penalty would win. Let's watch John Perks then, the try scorer, kicks. He misses, so we're still the point is in Bramley's favour, and I think when Cornforth scored the early try and Richard Agar kicked the goal from the touchline, It was sit back and see how many. Longo kicks off, and I'm sure the experienced heads in the Bramley team are going to steady things down and play 4 or 5 tackles and then look for the boot of Perks or Freeman. As the ball's lost, penalty to Bramley. And there weren't too many voices of dissension from the far side, so you get the idea the ref must have been right. It must have been ripped out in the tackle. John Perks makes sure then. Bramley going to use the big props, Marson and Quinlan, and they're going to waste as much time as they can. Kick the ball into the corners. Gordon Long. Roy Jewett. Roy Jewett. Strong run. Certainly the 12-man, it just doesn't appear to make any difference. As Wayne Freeman, the big centre, a try scorer in the opening game, looking to double up. As Bramley again, the blind side, it's Blankley. On his back, and of course Bramley get the put in at the scrum. Away we go then. Gordon Long. Ken Kerr urges his troops, get on the outside. Bramley think they can score again. Ken Kerr. 2 tackles gone. So, I think Bramley might be better advice to try and just move away. So. Gordon Long sneaks another one over now. Was that the right thing to do? It's a 2-point advantage now, but play comes to the other end of the field. We can only answer that question at the end of the game. Would Bramley have been better staying up there? The quick kick-off. They've usually got to take quick kick-offs. Brian Quinlan. Marson. He won't mind going back if he holds the ball. Roy Jewett runs strongly in the second row. Paul Garrett. Last tackle, look for the deep kick. Wayne Freeman. Straight to Phil Cornforth. But Brian Quinlan is going to be spoken to here. Dewsbury with about 6 minutes to pull the game out of the fire. Hagar with the kick. Paul Worthy. 1 tackle gone. We'll count the tackles in this sequence. Danny McKelvey, that's 2. To the blind side, Glenn Bell gets the ball away. 3 tackles gone into the Bramley quarter. Dewsbury 18, Bramley 20, Longo. The scrum half goes solo, that's 4 tackles. Paul Delaney looking for support, turns it back. Tony Marchant. Tony Marchant almost gets 3, it's the 5th, it's the last tackle. Plays the ball back as Andy Fisher goes for the line, and 6 tackles, turnover. As Bramley's filled the ball, Dewsbury. 6 more to go at. Delaney, there's men out wide, surely. Agar gets the ball out, Cornforth. Back inside, Dewsbury go back, that's 1 tackle as Bramley spill the ball, the first tackle, not what Ray Ashton ordered. Delaney, Glenn Bell, there must be options out. Dickinson, Marchant, Tony Marchant, still going. Tony Marchant held by the post, 2 tackles. Desperation stakes. Andy Fisher, 3 tackles gone on the line. Mark Cox should have to fan the ball out. Out we come, there must be gaps out wide. Paul Worthy in a left centre position. The ball comes out and Bill Cornforth loses the ball. Bramley in possession for 1 tackle, and like I said, the drop goal has moved play down from one quarter to the other, and I think it's given Dewsbury a sniff of success. Good play blankly as Glenn Bell followed through. I don't think the ref quite saw it. Andy Marson attacked in half-back. They're just going to shovel the ball out and let the big men go forward. Clear the 25. Now the kick gives Dewsbury possession. Tony Marchant on the full. Bramley offside, are they? As another little disagreement occurs. They're Dewsbury have got to get on with the game. Richard Agar. Danny McKelvey, 1 tackle into the Bramley quarter. Could this be Dewsbury's last chance? Worthy, 2 tackles. Slithering and sliding. Gonna come blind, I think. Longo. Longo still going, that's 3. 18. Dewsbury, 20 Bramley as Delaney, the long ball. Fisher gets the ball in, McKelvey. No, that won't count. The referee rules the ball had gone forward, and again, Andy Fisher very much the danger man. I think I would probably name Andy Fisher the Dewsbury man of the match. I would probably say Dean Blankley the Bramley man of the match. But, I make it probably 2 minutes left as Bramley through Gordon Long. Hold the ball. Again, Bramley, Andy Marson. That's a loose forward. Paul Garrett just happy to take the tackle, waste a few more seconds. The kick's going to come from Freeman. That's Roy Jewett. And a big game, big strong running game, and don't forget, down to 12 men as Gordon Long. I thought we were going to get the kick back, and that's a good kick. Got Dewsbury back into the corner. Tony Marchant. Dewsbury got to throw caution to the wind. We're now moving into injury time. Russ Parker, 2 tackles gone. Longo looks to go solo, but double tackle. Delaney, out we come. Now then, chance of an overlap. Dewsbury put the ball back inside. Knock on given. There goes the hooter. It's a famous victory for Bramley. It's a catastrophic defeat for Dewsbury. How will this affect things at the end of the season? But today, against all the odds, Dewsbury 18, Bramley 20.